pleasure to introduce to you our last senior of the evening. Part of the marching band, ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for senior Maria Ilardo.
I think it's roughly around 7,000.
Wow.
Yeah, there's a lot of students there.
Yeah, it's
a lot
more than I thought.
High school is probably 2,000.
High school's probably about, I'm gonna say about
I told you to be ready. I understand the importance. I get it. We're going to get this thing rolling. I don't know what we're supposed to do yet, Terrence. Somebody's going to tell you. But I know we're going to ask everybody to stand at attention for the playing of the national anthem. Where's the color guard?
yeah,
Are they ready?
that's the other reason.
The reason why
They're building the entire new school.
Color guard coming out?
they're growing.
Yeah, they're
Okay.
huge.
And they
It's
need their own
huge.
field.
All right, well, we do have encore. You know what
Like
that means.
I honestly think it's anywhere in between like 4,000 and 7,000 total.
Ladies and gentlemen,
So now you think
if I
we're
can
a
ask everybody
500
to please rise.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
500 student school, heavy on seniors. Yeah, we got.
Come on in, everybody.
And that's a good, because
No, you're right.
500
Thank you, my dear.
Can you compare it to
We
that?
start about 10:30. All right.
my first year at Toledo,
Ladies and gentlemen,
We
please
played-
rise, remove your caps
what's that school?
for the playing of our national
And
anthem.
big school, yeah. Really, really good one. Which school is that? What is this one?
And that's the Charter Panthers encore, opening up this game tonight, representing the colors. God bless America. Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome you to a Night Under the Lights Friday night. Coral Springs Charter hosts St. John Paul II, the last regular season football game for the Southeastern Football Conference. My name is Ryan Stout, alongside Chris Jenkins tonight, bringing you this Friday night showcase. This is High School Game Day, made possible by HSPNSports.com. Wherever you may be, we are glad you are joining us tonight. Double feature this week, Thursday. Two undefeated teams on the broadcast this week, Chris. Got undefeated Piper Bengals in the 8A11 district. Undefeated Piper Bengals, who would have thought? And now featuring Coral Springs Charter, undefeated. Now they're on the verge of going undefeated 2 years in a row at this home field and possibly going undefeated for this entire regular season.
Well, you're looking at a team that's, of course, on a roll and hoping to continue that, but they face a pretty tough opponent, St. John Paul II in the house, and this is for all the marbles.
Yeah.
This is for the district championship and, of course, home field advantage playoff-wise and that kind of thing.
Right.
We'll get into that as we go along, but Pope John Paul coming in here 7-1 in district play, only one game back
Right.
of Charter
Right.
for district lead. Of course, the Eagles come out of Boca Raton and should be a good one. They're coming off a big-time win last week, 37-6 spanking of Benjamin.
There you go.
And, of course, you look at Charter on the other side, they're rolling too, coming in undefeated 8-0, 36-0, beat down of LaSalle out of Miami. This is going to be a good one tonight, and one of the assistants that I just spoke to prior to us going on air said it best. Whatever team makes the least amount of mistakes will probably get the W. I could sum it up best saying that and totally agree with it.
I can agree with that as well. Charter doing outstanding things on the road as well. At home, this is a special feature from the Sportsplex in Coral Springs, Florida, and we want to give a big shout-out to the city of Coral Springs, City TV, for featuring this game tonight and last night's game. Both games were featured. Had Piper versus Coral Springs High School. So 2 Coral Springs schools featuring this week. We're going to see if we can get a commissioner up here. I'm not sure who's going to be here tonight, but a special night because it's senior night. Obviously, the last home game of the season. So it is a special night for the Charter Panthers. If you tuned in earlier with us during our test feed, we actually had a special presentation of all the seniors going from football to cheerleading to the encore, everyone. And also another special feature 2 weeks ago, we featured Coral Springs Charter, and we did a rebroadcast over at Buffalo Wild Wings in Coral Springs. Guess what? 150 kids, a boatload of food and chicken wings were served, and guess what? They want us back. So guess what? We're going back tonight. Once again, rebroadcast at Buffalo Wild Wings in Coral Springs over on 441 and Wiles. And we want to give a big shout out to those that make this thing go viral. Watch HSPN. You can watch it anywhere on all these platforms. Bleacher.com, FloridaVarsity.com, FloridaGridironPreps.com, HighSchoolFootballAmerica.com, FloridaHSFootball.com, and Never Had It So Good Sports Radio. Big shout out to those that make these games go viral, and trust me, they do. Last night, reaching 580,000 people just on social media, Chris.
Nice.
So I can
Very
only
nice.
imagine when we do double headers what it's going to look like tonight, and we're going to get a visual of the coin toss real quick. And once again, if this is your first time joining us, we are very active on the social media. You can probably tell if you're on it right now. Hey, hit us up at HSPN Sports. Anytime during the broadcast, just let us know what your thoughts are, what your concerns are. Hey, if we butchered someone's name, we love to hear it. We get all types of comments. We get all types of folks coming in from worldwide to nationally, regionally, locally. Had a great audience last night, Chris. Some new features worldwide. Vietnam joined us. Singapore. Can't think of any more off the top of my head, but ultimately nationally. Also, we're going nationwide, regionally, and even had some, because we were in the 8A11 district, couple Parkland guys tuning in as well. So I know last night the big talk was, hey, Piper Bengals, October 30th, their next game, they take on the Bucks. Not undefeated, only lost to Jacksonville Bulls, but hey, we got 2 special features tonight. So, hey, if you have any comments, if you're alumni, if you're a parent that couldn't make it, whoever you may be, hit us up on the Twitter feed. We are active. I got it in front of my face. And if you're on YouTube, back in the studio, trust me, you will be in the conversation as well. We won't see it in the booth unless you shout it out on Twitter. So that is just a reminder for those that are on the YouTube platform. If you send us comments, you're going to get a reply from the studio.
An electric night, Ryan. Should be some good stuff tonight. I was unable to join you last night, but we're picking back up where we left off last week, and we got a good one.
Absolutely.
Good one in the house. I'm glad we're able to bring this one to the folks. And as you said, we welcome all of the input and feedback. Of course, Charter on their home turf. And these seniors looking to go out in style, and St. John Paul standing in their way. Of course, Charter is going to be in the blue, navy blue, and powder blue. And you've got the visitors. I'm going to say that's black. Is that black and gold?
Well, it looks like we got some
Black,
yellow
white,
helmets.
and gold.
Yeah. Well, it looks yellow from here.
Charter will accept.
And impact players tonight, since it is a senior night. Special shout out to Zach Weber on the defensive side of the ball. On the offense, A.J. Miller, Kalen Carson at the QB and running back position, as well as, yes, very own C.J. Jackson Jr. He's the stud out there, and he's the one to watch tonight. Impact players for St. John Paul II. Rayshard Wallace, Dominic Milanese, Ryan Risk, and Regan Lean.
Short kickoff to get this one going. As the Eagles try a little trickery, looks like, but they give up great field position to the Panthers to start this one off. Panthers will start off 1st and 10. They're going to be at their own 35.
Timekeeper has shown up.
And it's never a good situation. Special teams has been probably the biggest struggle for all the games we featured this year. We've only probably seen a handful of good special team play throughout the season. Last night, Piper, they went for 2 every single time. So, like you said, giving up good field position early on this game, not looking good. But we're going to see what the offense on the Panthers side is going to put up. A.J. Miller leading the pack.
So Miller in the shotgun gets this one off on the screen pass. First play from scrimmage, picks up decent yards.
Dominic Grassi
Dominic Grassi on the reception, bringing that one in.
It's going to be a gain of 5, second down.
Bring up about a 2nd and 5 situation for him.
And just some quick facts over on the Panther side. This will be the most wins for the Panthers in a single season. And for the seniors that are on the field, if they win tonight, it'll be 29 wins. It'll be the most wins for the senior class.
So 2nd and 5 for Miller. Once again, shotgun situation. Spread set. They go straight up the gut. Carson busting through defenders. Pops one off for about 15 yards. That'll move the sticks up to about the 45. Fresh set of downs coming up for the Panthers.
No doubt Carson, one of the workhorses for the Panthers. You're going to see a couple guys rotate at that running back position. Carry on being one of them. The young, I want to say he's a sophomore. Let's find Carry On. He's a junior, actually, but his primary position is defensive end. But Carson's going to be featured tonight, probably most because number 9, Cam Perez, the senior, is on the bench right now with what looks like maybe a shoulder injury. So a lot of Carson tonight.
Carry to Carson near side once again. Breaking through tackles, picks up about 12. That'll move the sticks again. Panther ground game looking good. Second first down of the contest for the Panthers. Panthers looking good so far in this one. Coming up on the 10-minute mark. No score, first quarter action here from Coral Springs Sportsplex in Coral Springs, Florida.
Well,
Panthers and Eagles.
There's no doubt Carson runs. When he runs, he looks like he's running with an attitude.
You go with the little fake toss, but the wraparound carry to Carson doesn't go anywhere. Check that. That was Jackson, actually, on the carry.
And we already got some shout-outs coming to you. Atlanta, Georgia, tuned into the broadcast tonight. Kissimmee, Florida. Lawrence, Olivia. And that's it so far. Tuned into the broadcast. We're going viral right now, folks. Make sure you're sharing it for these student-athletes.
So that was a gain of about 1, we'll call it, about a 2nd and 9 situation coming up. Empty backfield for Miller. 5 wide receiver set. Looking, has some time.
Has plenty of time. And
they're going to throw a flag, so it's probably going to be brought back for a holding.
A.J. Miller on the carry.
We'll see.
We have a flag.
And this is holding, and they'll bring him back 10.
And this is going to be a difficult situation. A.J. Miller tied, I believe, for most touchdown passes or passing yards in the conference right now. So it's going to be a tough situation if the defensive line cannot put pressure on the starting quarterback. This is really his only starting season. Came out early on last year, his junior season, with a collarbone injury, and really showcasing his talents right now. I mean, this season is really his breakout season, I would say. So
coming off a nice performance last week, 13 of 15, 201 yards, 3 TDs for Miller in that spanking over LaSalle. So they move him back 10, and it's going to be a 1st and 20, and the ball comes free, and the Panthers fall on it.
Well, that doesn't help when you already have 2nd down in forever.
Yeah.
3rd down for the Panthers.
So 3rd down in a very long situation. What we've seen so far out of this progression is, the Panthers are very consistent in their short game.
Yeah.
They definitely have the speed on the outsides, but as we can see right now, this St. John Paul defense is no doubt bringing the pressure on the outside.
So we got a 2nd and about 25 situation, give or take, for the Panthers. Miller's got some time, comes over the near side, floats one out of bounds. Intended receiver that time, Carson.
Pass is incomplete. It's going to bring up a 4th down.
So that will force a punt, and that was actually 3rd down and about 25. 4th down situation And, of course, Panthers will punt. Look good coming out to start this series off. Moving the ball, picking up a couple of first downs. The holding stalled the drive, so they'll give it back. And the Eagles will have their shot at it. No score, 8:29 on the clock, first quarter of play.
Ooh, and a high snap.
And getting this one off, a decent one.
It's going to be a nice spiral, and it's going to put them, looks like, on their own 14-yard line. And we get a chance to see the Eagles take the field on the offensive side of the ball. And once again, impact players is going to start on the offense with Ryan Risk at the quarterback position, as well as wide receivers Rashard Wallace and Dominic Milanese. And you're going to see a lot of athletes playing both ways tonight.
Risk coming off a pretty decent performance last week, 18 of 30, 283 yards, 4 TDs, 2 INTs last week in that W over Benjamin. So they start off inside their own territory, about their 14, 1st and 10. Risk floats one over, screen pass, picks up 5, 6, maybe 7 on the play on the completion.
That's decent. That's decent out of a quick pop pass to the side. Good setup block by his other wide receiver, and that's a way to open up with the ball going in the air at first. Interested to see what kind of run game they have.
And I believe that was Ippolito on the reception.
And a couple shout-outs. Fort Lauderdale, Florida is in the building. Winchester, as well as Milton, joined us in the broadcast. Thank you for joining us tonight at HSPN Sports. Is the feed you'll want to talk to us on. Got the feed wide open in front of us right now.
So short gain on the play brings up a 3rd down situation.
Looks like inches. 3rd and inches for the Eagles. And first time I wanted to say it almost looked like an eye set.
And they go with the run, breaking some tackles, getting the first down and more on the near side. We finally popped out of bounds.
Oh, 3rd and
number
inches.
19, Reese Clark, the leading rusher.
Only 3rd and inches, but he's going to bend it out to the outside and see. Probably ran about 20 yards.
So that'll be enough to move the sticks for the Eagles. First down of the contest. Now at their own 35. Risk in the shotgun. Now pressure rolling out far side. Might tuck it. Gets up to the line of scrimmage. Picks up what he can. Gets about 2 or 3 on the carry. Bring up 2nd and long.
I want to say to that trip side of the ball, that flat route was wide open. Those 2 receivers pushing vertical. There's no doubt if Risk can hit it faster that he had that flat route wide open. So the linebacker, it's a tough position for a linebacker to catch that flat route. So decent route concepts. Are going to go trips to the near side of the field now, and we'll see what Risk can put together on this 2nd and about 9.
4 wide receivers set. They go with the screen pass. Have a little something. Cook and flag on the play. This one's probably going to come back complete to number 2, Joseph Farley.
That's tough. That's tough for, when you get those screen pass, it's always something in your gut that's going to say, well, you know what? You're putting a lot of pressure on the blockers. When you get in these slip screens and stuff, you're putting them in a position where most likely you're going to get a holding call. That's the effect right now, what we're seeing. Once again, both teams, offensive side of the ball, traveling what seem to be good possessions, have gone elsewhere, negative yards, and that's going to bring up, 2nd and 20 right here.
Yeah.
So a tough situation for Risk in this offense.
So 4 wide receiver set with a shotgun set up for Risk. 1st and 20 situation to go over the middle.
Oh, man. A little high in his release, but ultimately Zach Weber back there and John Baltimore at the linebacker position licking their chops, looking for that interception, but Risk, he put enough air under it. It went over everybody's head, so a tough situation here on 3rd down and about 20. But no doubt there's a ton of confidence for this Eagles team in the passing game.
Penalties backing both of these squads up. We'll see if the Eagles can get something going. 3rd and 20 incomplete.
Oh, and there
and
it
they're
is.
going to possibly call
Zach Weber
Yep.
with the hit.
some type of interference. We'll see what we got. This could be big and
Well,
keep the Eagle drive alive.
There's no doubt quarterback's looking at his wide receiver. Zach Weber definitely had an idea looking at the quarterback's eyes where the ball was going, and it's going to be a targeting.
So an illegal hit's going to move this ball forward and keep the Eagle drive alive. Wow.
Well, definitely not enough to get the first down, but do we get a third down or a fourth down situation?
We have a dead ball, unsportsmanlike on the Panthers.
And it's going to be fourth down in this situation, so 5 yards. Okay, they're moving it.
Okay, so just to get it
From the
straight,
spot.
there was a dead ball unsportsmanlike added to the end of that penalty, so we are talking about an automatic first down.
Okay.
And now the Eagles are officially in Panther territory, ball spotted at the 45. So, wow. They would have had to ordinarily give the football up, but were able to keep it, and we got flags before this play even starts.
Wow.
So, false start now. Wow.
A little frustration on the Panther sideline, and definitely a luck of the draw for the Eagles right here moving forward. Zach Weber probably beating himself up, knowing that he probably could have held back on that play right there. So, first and about 15.
So 6:34 on the clock, still no score. Eagles on the move. First and 15 situation. They decide to get this one up and tackled immediately after the reception. Jackson on the tackle, but Dominic Melanese on the reception for the Eagles. And that's going to be close to moving the sticks, maybe about a second down and about 2, we'll call it, after the reception.
I want to give a quick shout out. Got some more people joining us from Plantation as well as Homestead, and we have gone worldwide with a shout out to the Philippines has joined us tonight, Chris.
Philippines in the house. Welcome, my friends.
Yes. And they're flying in like crazy right now, the shout outs. So, hey, if you're the one listening from Westerville as well as Homestead or the Philippines, hey, we want to know who's watching. Hit us up on the Twitter feed at HSPN Sports.
So we got our first break of the contest, 6:01 on the clock. After the penalty, the Eagles will come out of the timeout with a 2nd and 8. They were backed up 5 yards in the midst of
an interesting
our shout-outs.
drive. Interesting drive overall for the Eagles, going backwards early on, but ultimately getting a big break with that unsportsmanlike.
Yes.
And what was that? About 25 yards?
Yeah, they picked up about 25 yards, kept the drive alive, and now they're trying to get something going here. Points may be at a rarity if these teams can't keep some continuity going and not hurt themselves with penalties.
Well, like I said, there's no doubt Coach Snead has confidence in Risk because this offense, we've maybe seen, maybe a handful of runs, maybe 2 or 3 on the ground, but they're definitely attacking the air. So Zach Weber, Calvin Jackson Jr. going to have a lot of action tonight.
So they complete the screen pass over the far side of the field, gain about 5. Jackson Jr. on the tackle.
It's going to bring up a 3rd down.
And I believe that was Melanese on the reception. So flags before the play with 3rd down and short. And that false start's going to back the Eagles up even further. So penalties killing both sides so far. This is the first possession.
Probably the most penalties we've seen in 2 possessions.
Yeah, this is the first possession of the contest for the Eagles, and it's back and forth for them. So we've got a 3rd down and about 8, we'll call it. Risk being pressured now, trying to find somewhere. Scrambles, floats one up, caught, and popped, still on his feet, over the far side, and finally knocked out of bounds. But that'll keep the Eagle drive going.
And that's Jonathan Cook on the reception. and looked like C.J. Jackson's going to try and make an attempt with the kill shot, but just bouncing off the young man. And no doubt the entire wide receiver, they had started out with a trips bunch and just kind of opened up the entire defensive backs. And, I mean, there was wide receivers open all over the place. So.
And this is a team that does like to pass. They average around 200-plus yards per game through the air, 31 points per game. They're getting close, marching inside of Panther territory. Go with the screen pass over the near side, 10-5, and popped out close to the goal line. He's just short, maybe at the 1, we'll call it.
Probably could have reached out and got that. Like to see a little more effort out of the running back. But ultimately, Eagles on the verge of putting first points on the board here in the first quarter of play.
And Race Clark showing he's got some hands from that RB spot. Almost taking it in. So it's going to be first and goal line from the 1 for the Eagles. We'll see if the Panther D can hold. They go with the run and straight up the gut and popped short of the goal line. He will not get in. I believe that was number 9, Cam Perez, I think, stepping in.
Well, no, Cam's actually on the bench right now. I believe it was number 5, Kevin Solstice, with the tackle.
Okay.
Getting in there and making himself known. They're going to try and get it up the gut. Or, quarterback's going to pull it. And
looked like they were going with the little option play, potentially.
We apologize for the giant pole. This isn't our first game.
Flags coming in late on top of everything else.
This isn't our first game at the Sportsplex, but if you've joined us before from here, there's a giant pole in the middle of the screen. So we apologize for that on behalf of the city. So not much we can do.
Well, we'll try and tell you folks what's going on. If you can't see, dead ball, unsportsmanlike, offsetting penalties against both teams on that play as they tried to get the run going. So it's going to be negated out of the way, and we've got a third down. And we'll see if the Panther defense can hold as a third down and goal situation coming up for the Eagles. Risk in the shotgun, joined by Clark. And he's trying to find someone and dumps this one off inside the goal line. Touchdown, Eagles.
Well, they were going to take their chances in the air and with a short amount of yardage, and ultimately Risk going to dump it off to his running back. And ultimately, they're going to draw first blood. Eagles points on the board early in the first.
Clark puts that one in. About 1 yard out. And as you said, Ryan, the Eagles strike first, extra point ensuing. 3:39 on the clock.
And we got some shout-outs coming your way. Like I said, Chris, once we hit one worldwide, we're going viral. And Thailand's coming to us, Brazil, Germany. And now we're keeping it local with Davey. And also Miramar. So big shout-out to those that joined us tonight. If you're just with us, Eagles of St. John Paul II here in the Southeastern Football Conference strike first against the undefeated Coral Springs Charter Panthers.
Farley with the extra point just to round it out. And we've got a 7-0 score officially, 3:39 on the clock, first quarter action here from Coral Springs, Florida, here on HSPN Sports. Glad you could join us. And now we'll see if the Panthers can answer. Eagles to kick off. Senior night here from the Sportsplex here in Coral Springs, Florida. Chris Jenkins, Ryan Stout on the mic with you. Thank you for joining us. Tuning in, a beautiful night, nice, cool night here in Coral Springs. Some good action on the gridiron. Farley to kick this one off and kicks it short once again, not giving the Panthers an opportunity to return. Almost got it back as they go with the little short poocher. Panthers fall on it. Almost lost it. Good news is they still retain possession and still have great field position right around their 35.
There we go.
Only the second possession for the Panthers tonight came out, opened up the ball game.
Eagles chewed up a lot of clock.
They did.
When they did get their first possession. Finally rounded it off with a score. And now we've got a stoppage in play. I don't know what the discussion is about, but we shall think we got a timeout, I guess.
Well, the Eagles definitely confident in their passing game, risk taking some chances, and ultimately what we have seen in past games, the defensive backs for Coral Springs Charter, I would say some of the top in this Southeastern Football Conference, no doubt, but they're being challenged tonight by definitely a very good wide receiver core for the Eagles.
Well, and we should keep in mind with this Eagle team, they've only got one loss on the season, and the team they lost to
Calvary
was Calvary.
Right.
Now, it was a pretty good spanking, 52-27, if I'm not mistaken, the final on that one, but that's a pretty good Calvary team.
Right.
They'd be undefeated as well right now. So Charter, second possession of the contest coming out. 4 wide receiver set, Miller in the shotgun. Or pistol look, we should say, for him. And they decide to keep it on the ground with Carson. Pretty good yards. Gains about 5 on the play. Bring up 2nd and 5 coming up.
Panthers definitely looking for a rhythm here with only their second possession here in the first quarter. Once they get going, there's no doubt that they're very difficult to stop. They got weapons all over the place, and we saw with some of our impact players, number 6, Zach Weber, Calvin Jackson Jr., number 11, as well as Kalen Carson. We got Dominic out here on the near side for us. Dominic Grassi, impact player a couple weeks ago.
So they go with the screen pass, near side, swallowed up by that Eagle D immediately.
Zach
Weber on the reception, but taken down immediately. And I believe that was Clark showing he can tackle on the defensive side for the Eagles.
That's what the coaches mentioned early on, that a lot of these guys, you're going to see them playing both ways, and really that's the reality for both of these schools, smaller schools in the county. But ultimately, these players, you're going to see a lot of them go both ways tonight and do it effectively.
4 wide receiver set for A.J. Miller. Has time, now scrambling to the near side, floats this one up and caught right in front of his teammates.
That's going to be Dominic Grassi on the reception for the Panthers. And like we said, impact player a couple weeks ago, stepping up his game, no doubt. Definitely one of the underrated guys for the Panthers early on in the season, and snuck up and really has some decent stats for the Panthers, making an impact on the offensive side.
And he helped get the Panthers their 3rd first down unofficially of this one. So we'll see. Panthers can knock this one up at 7, down 7. They go with Carson. Breaking tackles, finally wrapped up after gaining about 5. And we got about 135 roughly here in the first quarter plays. We'll see if the Panthers can get something going before first quarter action ends. They are officially in Eagle territory at this point.
And want to give a big shout out to North Lauderdale, joined us in the broadcast tonight. We appreciate you tuning in. And remember, HSBN Sports at HSBN Sports on the Twitter feed. Hit us up. I got it live for you.
So 4 wide receiver set once again. Eagles.
And they're going to blow it. And I want to say it's a delay game, depending on. Yep.
Yeah, this was going to back.
Coming from the back judge, that's usually what the call is. He's back there. I know there's no play clock usually for most high schools, but A.J. Miller has to be aware that's his call right there.
So under a minute now. Panthers down 7, and they keep it simple on the ground game. He gets about 2 or 3 yards back from what they lost on the delay. So it's going to bring up a 3rd down, and we'll call it about 8 Ball spotted, I want to say, at the 47-yard line.
Panthers definitely need to establish their passing game here early in the game. Make sure this defense stays disciplined. Seen a lot of press on the outside on these wide receivers. So
Eagles preparing for a pass, but the Panthers may have them. Breaking tackles and finally knocked out near side.
Wow.
Picks up first down yardage. Kalen Carson moves the sticks. First down and 10 Panthers.
want to say he stepped out early, but obviously the refs can see a little bit better than we can up here in the box. But running with attitude, they're going to get the first down and potentially going to be probably on the Eagles' 33.5-yard line, 34-yard line.
And this will be the last play of first quarter with 3.5 remaining. Panthers look like they're on the move, down 7. Now inside of Eagle territory. They go with the run over the far side. And Carson gets minimal yards, maybe 1 or so on the play. And that'll be it. First quarter action in the books from the Sportsplex here in Coral Springs, Florida. Chris Jenkins and Ryan Stout here on HSPN. Second quarter action coming up. 7-0 score, a tight one. And the district championship on the line in Class 3A.
Panthers on the verge of making history. Would be the first undefeated season in entirety for the Panthers. If they win tonight, will be the second year they're undefeated at home. So last year was their first season that they were undefeated at home, and they're looking to follow up.
Well, and you got a lot of seniors on this team that felt the sting of getting to the championship last year. They look like they're on a mission.
Right.
And they have not looked back this whole season. The closest game, we got to remember, the closest game that they even had was against Westminster Academy, 21-14 win that they squeaked out up at their place, a muddy, mucky, just tore up field, and they managed to pull that W off. They've been on a mission. They know what's on the line. We'll see if they can get it going here in the second half. You look at this St. John Paul team, only 9 seniors that I've counted on this team. They're used to having small numbers in that regard, but talking to their coaching staff, they are not surprised one bit that they're in the position that they're in.
Right. Well, they're definitely showing it tonight, drawing first blood here early on in the first half of play, and the Eagles really taking advantage of their passing game, leading the charge.
Yeah.
For the offensive side, and basically the Panthers, the audience is kind of waiting for them to get
going.
Get going. It's something they've seen throughout the entire year. So
about a 70-30 pass run, I'd say, for the Eagles so far. They definitely have kick-started the passing game early on in this one. Panthers still slowly moving the ball down the field as they face a 3rd and long, and they go with a receiver toss back, picked off though.
My goodness.
Eagles down the sideline. He's going to be knocked out of bounds, still on his feet in the middle. He may have some room, shakes a tackle now, thrown down around the 45-yard line. Huge play and a interception by the Eagles. That is number 4, Melanese, stepping up, making something happen for the Eagle defense.
A little trickery on the Panther side of the ball. Calvin Jackson Jr., impact player for tonight, trying to make something happen. Unexpected, no doubt, but throwing an interception here.
Didn't put enough air underneath that one.
Right.
So the Eagles in business, already up 7 as we start the second quarter. First turnover of the contest. We'll see if the Panther D can hold or if the Eagles can take advantage. They go over the middle. Tipped, almost intercepted as the Eagles going for the jugular on the first play after they get the turnover knocked away. Zach Weber stepping up defensively. The senior 6'1", 180-pound DB. So second down situation coming up for the Eagles, trying to take advantage of the first turnover of the contest. 11:01, second quarter action, 7-0. St. John Paul Eagles up.
And the flat's wide open.
Plenty of room to run. Gets close to the sticks. Pulling that one in is Melanese, making big plays on both sides of the football. Is this young man, and he does get enough, I think, to move the sticks and keep the sticks moving. Demetrius Rufus on the stop for the Panthers.
Well, there's no doubt that the Eagles' offense, they're keying in on the weaknesses on the Panther side of the ball. They're going for that running back linebacker matchup all day long. What we've seen a couple times now is the flat's just really wide open, because you're talking about a linebacker that's got to make his way. You know, if you don't have a good angle, it's going to be open every single time, unless you go, you know, maybe a cover 2 cloud, something like that, where you've got a guy sitting out there already. So definitely taking advantage of the Panthers' weaknesses here. Eagles on the verge of putting more points on the board.
4 wide receiver set. Risk going up top.
Wow.
Incomplete. And he had his man for a quick second there.
My goodness, I was watching him the entire time, and that young man was open probably from the 20-yard line to the goal line, no doubt. Bounces right off his chest. That's definitely going to be on his mind the rest of the game.
Pass intended for number 2. That was Joseph Farley. So we've got a third down situation. Check that second down situation for the Eagles, and they go with the run this time. Keep it a little conservative, maybe get 2 or 3 on the play.
That's going to be a big stop by you-know-who, Chris Judge, number 64. Looking like a grown man out there. Panthers have to stay disciplined on the defensive side, have to find some way to disrupt this momentum that the Eagles have.
Under 10 now, second quarter play. 7-0 to score. Eagles on the move, trying to take advantage of the first turnover in the contest. Now pressured. Risk to the near side, has some room, and gets out of bounds, but not enough to move the sticks. That's going to bring up a big fourth down situation.
What are we calling here? We're starting it this early. I'm saying they're going for it.
About a 4th and about 4 is what they're looking at.
I'm saying they're going for it, no doubt.
Ball spotted at the 28, we'll call it. And it looks like you might be right. Risk and the Eagles trying to go for it. A big play, probably the first big play of the contest. 4th and 4. Risk wrapped up by the Eagle or Panther defense, and he will not get it.
My goodness. Risk taking a risk, taking it up the middle of the field, trying to see if the linebackers are going to get outside of the pocket. And he's going to be, that is a huge stop for the Panthers right here. Turned it over, if you're just joining us. Panthers turned it over, I want to say, in their second possession. Yeah. And their only second possession was in, you talked about it earlier, Eagles really took up a lot of time in the first quarter of play. So second possession for the Panthers started, midway. We're breaking it up first quarter, second quarter. This is a huge momentum swing if the Panthers take advantage of it.
Kevin Soltis from that DB spot, the senior stepping up, making the sack. Well, probably wasn't a sack. He gained positive yards, did Risk, but he didn't get enough for the first down, came up a couple of yards short. Panthers keep it on the ground as they get it going back the other way and finally wrapped up.
A.J. Miller going to make
A.J. Miller.
Yeah, smart decision. He's going to get about 6 yards on the play and take advantage of keeping himself healthy and going to slide to the ground. But ultimately, Panthers are looking to get some type of momentum here in the second quarter of play. Once again, Eagles drew first blood.
Coming up on the 9-minute mark, we still got a 7-0 score. Second quarter action, Panthers back the other way on a good 4th-yard stand. And here we go with Kalen Carson shaking defenders, rolling, still on his feet, and finally knocked out of bounds, but that'll keep it moving
and on
if
top of that,
the penalty does not stand. We'll see.
On top of that, I think the referee saw what I saw, and it's going to be a potential face mask here. So we're talking about extra yards, personal foul, face mask. 15.
Oh,
Is
I
it
think
from-
this one's gonna be a big one.
From the spot of the foul. So
We've got a face mask, so we've got yards tacked on to the end of the run, and this may possibly give the Panthers the momentum to get over that hump that they need, but they're going to give them the 5-yard variety.
it only takes, like you said early on, you talked to the coach, whoever has the least amount of mistakes is going to win this game.
Yeah.
So it only takes one little mistake. And we saw the effects of that early in the game. And no doubt the Eagles put up points because of that drive they had with that major penalty 25 yards down the field. So
Ball spotted at the Eagle 40, 1st and 10. Going with the little pass option to Jackson. I think he may go the distance. Touchdown!
he will.
Panthers!
Finding his
Posted
target.
in there.
Yep. Easy target for A.J. Miller, and we're just going to throw it up for him. We got impact players for these guys, and once again, we apologize for this giant pole in the way, but we're just going to throw up those impact players to keep you distracted. A.J. Miller, impact player tonight to Calvin Jackson Jr. A.J. going to do a little sprint out and potentially what looked like a run turned into a pass to Calvin Jr., and Calvin's just going to take it the distance because there's no doubt he has the speed. So Panthers finally on the board. Blashinsky doing what he does best, the lefty.
So a 40-yard touchdown pass from Miller to Jackson. Extra point by Blashinsky. And we are 7 up, folks. 8:14 on the clock, second quarter action. We got a good one here on HSBN Sports.
And once again, the lines are open. Not telephone lines, but the Twitter lines at HSBN Sports. Hit us up on the Twitter feed. Any shout-outs, former alumni tuned into tonight's game. It's not one you want to miss. The last regular season game for the Southeastern Football Conference. Yes, the independent conference here in South Florida. One of Broward County's finest teams. I would say top 2. I don't know if I would say top 2 teams, but we know Panthers.
They're in the thick of it. They're definitely in the top 10, I would say.
Yeah, no doubt. With one loss only to Calvary Christian, but really Calvary falling off with 2 losses to the Panthers as well as Pinecrest. So
So 7 tight is what we got. Blashinsky kicks this one off. And back deep. And still on his feet. Tripped up finally. But a nice effort by Rashard Wallace running for his life for the Eagles.
And the defense for the Panthers will take the field here in this second quarter of action. Once again, it's not one you want to miss, folks. It's going to be pretty close, I'm assuming, the entire game. The Eagles, no doubt, making an impact early on with their passing game. Risk really leading the charge for the offense with a wide receiver core that we really haven't seen compete really against the Panthers all season. So Rashard Wallace, Dominic Milanese, Mike Nestor, just a few names.
So Eagles start from their own 14, 1st and 10.
Panthers are just going to swarm and take them down, maybe a 5-yard gain for the Eagles.
It's going to bring up a second down.
And Wallace on the reception, I believe. Gain of about 4 on the play, so 2nd and about 6 coming up for Risk. In the shotgun, now goes near side. You can't see it in your picture, but a great catch. And it might be enough to move the sticks. It's actually going to be 2 yards short.
It's going to bring up a 3rd down.
So we have 3rd down and short situation coming up. I believe that was Melanese on the reception. Nice tiptoe catch on the sidelines for the Eagles. Brings up a 3rd down and 2 situation. Trying to answer the Panthers. Panthers just scoring on the last possession. We got a timeout, and the Eagles want to talk about it. So with 7:28 remaining here, second quarter action, we are knotted up at 7.
Watch ESPN. You can see it all over the place. If you're on the social media feed, you're seeing updates, scores. It's Friday night in Broward, Dade County. Hey, Friday night all over the nation, so we got football going on everywhere. But here in Broward and Dade, you're getting scores and updates at HSPN Sports. Also want to give some shout-outs. Tampa, Florida. Margate, Florida. And that's what we got so far nationally. We're viral worldwide. We got a great audience, and we want to give a big shout-out to those to make this possible. Game tonight is underwritten by Keeping Dreams Alive Foundation. Underwritten by PlayingTheRecruitingGame.com. And underwritten by StealthRating.com.
So coming out of the timeout, we've got a 3rd and 2 situation. Risk going for the pass over the far side, incomplete that time.
And no doubt the Risk quarterback over here taking advantage of the flats throughout the night. It's what we've seen. Pretty consistent. But it looks like we're going to finally see a punt team out of the Eagles.
Ippolito, the intended receiver for the Eagles. We'll see if Mr. Jackson can get nasty.
Well, this may be a first for us, Chris. Algeria has joined the broadcast tonight.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm going to say these might be Army bases. I don't know. We keep talking about it every week, but we don't get any of the shout-outs from the folks that have tuned in. But, you know, I'm always interested to see. I just want to know who it is, you know. Give us a shout-out at HSPNSports.com as well. You can see everything from video content.
We're going to be at Buffalo Wild Wings after the game.
And that is another timeout just to let the folks know specifically what's going on. The Panthers decided to take a timeout, talk a little bit.
Buffalo Wild Wings directly following this game over on 441 in Wiles. So make sure you come out and watch the rebroadcast of tonight's game.
So 7:23 on the clock coming out of the timeout. Eagles forced to punt back to the Panthers. We'll see if they give Jackson a shot. They get this one a low knuckleballer, and he will not get a chance to return. Panthers will have great field position nonetheless. Ryan, right up around the 45. We'll call it 44, 1st and 10. You can't ask for any better.
Nope, they got a wide open field to make anything could happen. We've seen the Panthers in previous broadcasts. They're really keen on their short game play, and I'm interested to see what they get right here. We got a quad set, I would say, here to the near side. 4 wide receivers stacked. No running back.
Empty backfield for Miller. We'll see if they keep it in the air. They do. They start to go with the little screen pass and dropped it. Disposito might have had a little something cooking if he had managed to scoop that one up. A low pass from Miller.
Getting a little ahead of himself.
Didn't catch it, though.
And they're going to switch him in and out real quick.
So a 2nd and 10 situation. Ball spotted at the 44. We'll see if the Panthers can take advantage of the great field position. Still knotted up at 7. 7:09 on the clock. Second quarter action. Back and forth we go. We got a tight one here from the Sportsplex here in Coral Springs, Florida. Chris Jenkins and Ryan Stout bringing you the action. Miller rolling out near side. Completes this one. Down the sidelines. Knocked out of bounds. My man Michael Carrion, the junior. 6'1", 190. Pulling that one in from Miller. That'll move the sticks. Fresh set of downs coming up. And they're going to spot this one. The 35, just short of the 35. New set of downs coming up for Miller and the Panther offense. All tied up, as I said, at 7. And they go with the run near side. And that was Carson on the carry. And he gains about 9 or so. So he's going to be short
Carson on the
about a
carry.
yard or so of moving the sticks once again.
And we got a Twitter shout out. First one of the night. Eagles 6 Group. At Eagles 6 Group. At HSBN Sports. Let's go. CSC Panthers beat St. John Paul. We appreciate your shout out. And we appreciate the support of this Panther team. Once again, Twitter feeds are live.
AJ Miller on the keeper.
Miller on the keeper trying to pick up first down yardage. Does. That'll be enough to move the sticks. Gains about 3 on the sneak. And we got another stoppage of play. Look like. Okay. Now they wind it back up and get it going. So we are approaching the 6-minute, 30-second mark. Second quarter action still 7-7 is the score. And to keep it on the ground with Carson. Moving, shaking through defenders. Breaks a tackle. Now over to the near side. Still on his feet. And ball pops free. This might be the second turnover of the contest. We'll see who comes up with it. Ball popped out of Carson's hand. And still no indication who's going to get it.
And we're going to find out bottom of the pile right now. There's something going on. So these young men are definitely fighting for it at the bottom. Carson, a very tough runner.
And is still going to stay with the Panthers. The Panthers
wow.
dodge a bullet, almost committing their second turnover of the contest.
Not too sure what went on down at the bottom of that pile, but no doubt the Panthers look like they come up with it.
So 6:22 on the clock. Panthers will keep possession. Ball is spotted, I want to say, around the 15.
Panthers on the verge of possible points on the board.
Official timeout. Water break.
So we got another timeout.
Well, second quarter, getting close to getting towards a halftime. And senior night for the Panthers. And probably we haven't seen all of their games, but the games that we've featured have not been this close. So Eagles came into this game early on, and I'm not going to, I'm just going to say it. If it wasn't for that 25-yard penalty down the field that brought them back into this game, I don't think the Eagles were going to score.
I agree.
But same goes for the Panthers as well. A couple big-time penalties for both teams, putting them in position to get points on the board. 7-7 here in the first half, second quarter of play. And the Panthers on the verge of possible points on the board if this Eagles defense doesn't play discipline.
Panthers inching toward another score. 1st and 10 from the Eagle 15, we'll call it. They're going to keep it on the ground once again. Caleb Carson on the carry.
And a big shout out, Pembroke Pines and Bartow join the broadcast tonight.
Well, ball spotted around the 12, second down, and we'll call it about 7. Miller in the pistol set. 4 wide receiver set for him. Rolling near side. Gets up to the line of scrimmage, decides to tuck it. Gets what he can, maybe got 1 or 2.
He's going to take it himself and just inching closer to that end zone.
Gained about 3 or 4 on the play, so it's going to bring up a 3rd down and 2, we'll call it. Ball spotted at about the 8.
Well, regardless, if they don't get a touchdown here, there's no doubt that they're confident in their special teams play. Blashinsky.
Yes, he is the secret weapon without question.
Both the special teams guys, the punter and the kicker.
So 3rd and 2 situation for the Panthers. They decide to go with a little short run, and that's a no gainer. So a big hold defensively by the Eagles. Brings up a 4th down situation for Bloshinsky. Ball spotted at the 10.
And once again, special feature tonight, senior night, as well as a rebroadcast over at Buffalo Wild Wings in Coral Springs. If you're tuned in tonight, you're in Coral Springs. Come out and join us because we're rebroadcasting the game. And we're going to eat some chicken wings. Come out here and hang out with the crew, as well as the Panthers.
Blusinski with the field goal, about 28 yards out, through and good. 10-7 to count now. Panthers take their first lead of the contest. 4:44 remaining second quarter action. We got a tight one, as to be expected. District lead up for grabs. Panthers coming in 8-0 in district play, facing the 7-1 Eagles. Panthers with a 1-game lead in the district. So district up for grabs, well as possibly some home cooking.
Yeah, and we're getting close to the
postseason. Yes,
we're getting some playoff action, and it's different in the Southeastern Football Conference. Remember, the independent conference here in South Florida, so their season's a bit shorter than everybody else's. So as we lead into maybe a couple more games out of the regular season, this is the last regular season football game for the Panthers, and we're looking to get some playoff action next week out of them, following with a championship game.
So Eagles come back with the kickoff the other way, had a little momentum, and just splattered right around the
big time stop by
25.
Big time impact player for Zach Weber is going to be on the stop.
And we do have an injured Eagle.
Injury timeout.
And as you can see here, impact players for tonight, number 6 at the defensive back position, Zach Weber. Also on the defensive side, a lot of these guys, mostly all of them play both ways, except the quarterback, A.J. Miller. Kalen Carson, going to see him more on the offensive side of the ball. But ultimately, C.J. Jackson is going to make some noise on that defensive side as well. So some outstanding football players, not just those 4. And got some impact guys for you for St. John as well. Rashad Wallace, Dominic Milanese, Ryan Risk, the quarterback, that's really opened up his arm in this first half, as well as Regan Lean.
And the injured Eagle on that play, Christian Cheatham. He was the young man that returned that kickoff as well. So Panthers take the first lead of the contest on a 28-yard field goal from Bloshinsky. They take over 1st and 10 on a good kickoff from now on 25. They're going up middle, almost picked off, and still scrambling, trying to get free, and picking that one off, Nick Desposito.
Yep. Risk going to step up into the pocket with confidence and just going to let it rip, and that's going to get undercut right there, no doubt. Great defensive play for the Panthers right there, something that no doubt they were looking for here right before halftime. Like you said, Chris, they've taken the lead only by 3 points with a Bloshinsky field goal, but A.J. Miller and his offense are going to get another shot at putting on some more points on the board before halftime. So getting close to that time, too.
Risk trying to go over the middle that time, trying to pick up a big chunk of yards, and that Panther defense stepping in there, picking it off, and they will get the ball right around midfield with a chance to go up even more and take advantage of their first turnover forced on the Eagles.
And a big shout out to Nick Dulce, number 22, baby. You know the number. Wish I could be out there with my boys. Let's get this W. Hashtag be remembered at CSC Panthers. That is Nick Dulce.
Miller completes a short pass, and we may have a late flag. I don't think they're going to call it. That's what the
The Panthers were looking for it.
Yeah,
well, we
they were
got
hoping.
We have a flag down here. It may not be on the late hit, but it looks like a face mask on the defense. So was not on the hit. Definitely a good hit by the defender, no doubt. But ultimately, positive yards for the Panthers.
Zach Weber on that reception that time, and they're going to tack on even more on the end of that, as you said, with the face mask, Ryan. So Panthers in business, trying to convert. 4:19 on the clock. Still here, second quarter action, 10-7 now the score. Panthers with the lead.
Lakeland, Florida, and Parkland, Florida have joined us on the broadcast tonight. We welcome you. The Twitter feed is live. We get some shout-outs. Got one from a Panther, Nick Dulce.
Miller looking. Light pressure. Gets this one off. Completes it. And finally knocked out of bounds close to the 10.
Zach Weber going to be the intended receiver once again. And A.J. Miller's got the time. You take advantage of it. Like you said, light pressure coming off the end. But you give this quarterback some time. There's no doubt the weapons on the offensive side for the Panthers are going to get open.
Panthers knocking on the door once again. Ball around the 12. 1st and 10 situation. They can pick up one more first down before hitting pay dirt. Inside of the 2, or right around the 2, they can pick up another fresh set of downs. We'll see what they do. Miller in the shotgun. Deciding to roll out. Fires this one off. Incomplete over the intended receiver's hands.
Just a little touch would have helped Weber. I want to say that was Weber. It looks like it. I can tell by his walk, but just a little more touch. It's tough when you're rolling out towards the wide receiver. But Weber definitely had the edge on the defensive back, heading towards the corner of the end zone, but just over his head. That's going to give him 2nd and 10 in Eagles territory, no doubt.
So 2nd down and 10 from the Eagle 12. Can the Panthers punch it in again? Rolling out. Tries this one to Grassi. Incomplete.
And that's going to be Carrion, the intended receiver, on the corner route, and in and out of his hands, no doubt, had a major opportunity right there to put more points on the board. A.J. Miller going to roll out to the far side of the field again. And 2 opportunities missed by the Panthers. It's going to bring up a 3rd down and 10.
So this would be a huge momentum holder of sorts as they go to the little dump off to Carson. Breaking tackles inside the 5.
My goodness.
He will not get there, but a nice run by that young man.
Wow. Kalen Carson making moves, cutting back, dangerous, cutting back in the inside. And they're going to give him a spot, probably 4th and 1?
Yeah, they're marking this one at the...
Now they're going to get a measurement.
Marking this one at the 2. We'll see once they...
And got another shout out from Nick Dulce. Attaboy. Desposito with that pick. Keep it coming. Nick, they're on the verge of scoring, so keep it coming, Nick. They're going to take some time to think about it and get this measurement right, because from our vantage point, it looks about 4th and 1, but it may change here in seconds. And it's going to be about 4th and...
It's going to be 4th and inches.
Yeah, it's going to be 4th and about 1 yard.
So if you're the Panthers, do you try and...
I'm going for it.
Completely seize the momentum here? I would totally agree with you.
I'm going for it. I think Nick's going for it. No doubt A.J. Miller. Going to be interesting to see what the play call is here. And it looks like A.J. is getting up under center this time and going to try and just pound it through.
Big 4th and 1 coming up. Spread set. Miller, wrap around, goes in, slides, touchdown, Panthers.
The confidence, outstanding decision by the offensive coordinator, which is Miller. And Miller just going to seize the moment. Empty set. No one in the backfield. He's going to take a snap from center, which is rare. From seeing the Panthers and forget going up, pounding it in the middle. He's going to take it around the outside and slide it
Pretty
on
much
in.
untouched.
Yep.
So big extra point coming up, and Panthers starting to get a little breathing room in this one, tacking on 6 more points with Bloshinsky in for the extra point.
Definitely have the momentum here. And late in the first half, took him a little bit to get the, I don't want to say tide roll because I'm not an Alabama fan, but that seems like the only appropriate thing to say. But the only concern, I would say, for the Panthers is going into this halftime, because there's no doubt Coach Snead is going to get these Eagles right coming out of halftime, because we've seen it here in first half play. The Eagles are dangerous in the passing game with risk.
Yes. So they are definitely not out of it. Down 17-7. We'll see if the Eagles can actually get something going into the half. But Panthers convert on an Eagles turnover by risk. Nice interception around midfield.
Yeah, Desposito coming through, undercutting his wide receiver, and that post route is going to haunt. Good thing quarterbacks got short-term memory, because that may affect them in the long run, giving the Panthers no doubt the momentum here late in the first half of play.
So the Eagles will get it back now. This one's high and deep, and it's going to go out of bounds, so that's going to help the Eagles out even more field position-wise. Wow, they're going to start off.
I know that drives coaches nuts.
35.
That drives coaches nuts. Kicking the ball out of bounds. That drives me nuts.
Kicking the ball out of bounds on the
And big shout out Eagle 6 Group at Eagle 6 Group. Touchdown Panthers. Yes, sirree. We're getting action live from the Sportsplex in Coral Springs. And a big shout out to the city of Coral Springs for streaming this game on City TV tonight. So if you're watching the game via internet and you're in Coral Springs, check it out. The city channel. The game should be streaming right now, so big shout out to the city.
Okay, so can the Eagles strike after turning it over and giving up 7? They go over the far side, has some room at the 40, at the 30. Shaking defenders, finally tripped up inside the 20.
That's a big-time play for the Eagles.
First down, Eagles.
And it looked like number 2 for the Eagles, taking it the distance.
And Joseph Farley
And Zach Weber
rolling.
trying to reach out and touch, but steps out of bounds.
So Risk and the Eagles trying to go up top, near side, caught.
Wow.
At the 15, knocked out of bounds.
Field position is critical in this game, and Desposito is going to fight with the wide receiver.
Melanese bringing it in. And the Eagles roaring back, trying to punch one in before the half. 2:43 on the clock, 17-7 the count. Eagles moving.
I would say about 30, 40 yards right here within seconds for the Eagles.
Absolutely. Risk rolling out, now pressure, having to go back,
Oh,
and
my
tripped
goodness.
up. Big-time defense by the Panthers.
Wow. Got to be careful right there, Risk. Running around the ball, one hand on it like it's a loaf of bread, and not only coming up with a big sack, really tripping on himself, but Risk almost giving up the ball, and that's going to be a first down, maybe a second down here and forever. So,
And Rafael Rodriguez applying the pressure, a little hobbled after that play for the Panthers, but nice defensive pressure coming up from that defensive line spot for him. So a big-time loss of about 10 or 12, and Risk trying to find something. Now pressured again, He's going to be sacked again.
My goodness, Risk having the time in the
Panther
backfield.
defense coming up, dude.
No doubt. No doubt defensive back sack right there. That's definitely a coverage sack for the Panthers because Risk has the time in the backfield, but if there's no one open down the field,
yeah, you got to eat it.
Coverage sack for the Panthers on that one, and you talk about going backwards.
So the Panthers have stepped up huge defensively. 2 major losses in a row for the Eagle offense after gaining big chunks of yards. Now they're going backwards.
And that is dangerous, exposing the weakness of this Eagle offense because no doubt the Eagles have been doing some outstanding things on the offensive side of the ball. So exposing some of the weakness, and it's going to be a false start here. Are we talking about a crowd that's maybe a little loud?
And they are very much rattled at this point, is this Eagle team. Had an opportunity to cut into this lead. It looked, for all intensive purposes, like they were going to, and the Eagle offense has sputtered.
Wow.
Panther defense has stepped it up. Under a minute now, and we've got a 3rd and downtown Miami coming up. They're going up top, though, picked off. So Panthers go into the half, forcing a second turnover of the contest.
That's Esposito again on the interception. He's got 2 for the night, no doubt. Panthers with the momentum here at the Sportsplex. You talk about exposing some weakness. I don't know if the Panthers are in risk head, the quarterback, but with 2, going backwards and then just kind of laying it out there, definitely rattled at this point. The Eagles luckily going into this halftime pretty soon to kind of regain their composure.
Wow. So will the Panthers kneel on it? Will they just run the clock out? We'll see with 44.4 remaining, up 17-7 going into the half. A big-time defensive stand, some huge defensive plays, and we got a timeout by the Panthers with 44.4. So no time running off the clock before that play was to start. If you're Coach Miller, what do? You're deep in your own territory. Do you take a chance? You keep it conservative?
Man, I don't know. Right now, I'm like Nick on the Twitter feed. I'm excited. A couple sacks. Desposito with another pick in his hands. I just don't know. I'm a little flustered right now myself. I'm not going to lie. Because I would say 44 seconds.
Enough time.
Calvin Jackson Jr., Kalen Carson, those 2 guys got burners.
Yes, I agree.
So, maybe, I don't know, Coach Miller may have a little trickery. We saw it the first time, Calvin Jackson trying to open up his arm and, coming up with the first interception of the game, but who knows? We'll see right here.
So here we go. Eagles showing blitz. And looks like the Panthers are going to keep it on the ground. Carson near side. And he's got enough to move the sticks. Stops the clock, 40.4 left.
A great run, but you got to get out of bounds, Carson. Looks like the clock has stopped.
So Panthers at their own 25, 1st and 10. See if they keep it on the ground again. They do to Carson over the far side now. Has some blockers, gets about 3 or 4.
And Miller's
clock's going to keep running, though.
He's going to call timeout. Good decision. I'm not sure how many timeouts they have, but we've seen they got 1 left.
And there's few teams, if any, that we can talk about this with. But if you get about 20, 25 more yards, Bleszinski comes into play here.
He's got the boot. So we've seen it. We've seen it a couple long ones early on in the season, and I've seen it personally out of practice. This young man's got a hefty foot on him. So I've seen with wind him hit a 60-yard with wind.
I can believe that, absolutely.
I'm just going to throw that out there. But, yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. Miller definitely trying to make a statement here. I wouldn't say there's pressure for the Panthers, but at the same time, there's a lot on the plate right now for the Panthers. Undefeated season. It'll be the first time an entire season, and they're trying to hold on to that undefeated at home. Once again, they did it last year, so this is it's really important for the Panthers, no doubt.
26.8 on the clock, second quarter action coming out of the timeout. Miller in the shotgun, 3 wides to the near, 1 to the far. Low snap. He's going to try and put this one up. No, he'll tuck it. Has some room, trying to get to the sideline. Now finally wrapped up. Gains about 5 or 6 on the play, but the clock is still tick, 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 tick. Coming up on about 10-second mark.
He's going to spike it. They got to get lined up.
Coming up on 5 seconds. He'll get this one off, and this will probably be the last play of the half.
Yeah.
And incomplete.
Pass was incomplete.
0.9 remaining.
4th down and 2.
0.9 seconds. We're going to see kind of checking out Miller right here on the sideline.
So will the Panthers just go for the Hail Mary? Will they just kick it away?
I probably wouldn't go for the Hail Mary. Once again, for those of you just joining us, the Eagles, they got guys playing both sides. I mean, really, both teams are playing both sides of the field, but these aren't your typical defensive backs. They're wide receivers.
Yeah, true.
So on paper, they're wide receivers, but they're also at the defensive back position, so I don't know if I take that chance.
4th and 1, and this is the last play of the half, and Carson over the near side, still on his feet, cutting toward the middle, and finally tackled. Yeah. Looked like he had something cooking for a second, and tackled up around the 45. That's the final play of the first half. In the book, 17-7 the count here from the Sportsplex in Coral Springs, Florida. Chris Jenkins, Ryan Stout here on HSPN Sports.
An interesting one, to say the least, for the Panthers. If you go back in the broadcast history, there's no doubt that the Panthers have been an effective team with their opponents, just really taking advantage of all the weapons that they have. A bunch of seniors out there on the field that really are taking advantage of their last football season that we're probably going to see at the collegiate level as well. So first time we've really seen the Panthers struggle.
Yes.
From our vantage point. For our entire season, we haven't got to see the entire season, but first time we've seen them struggle.
Oh, no question. Like I said, their closest contest was that Westminster Academy game, 21-14 final. But the stakes are a little bit higher.
Yep.
The opponent's a lot better, and it's exactly as we expected. Panthers got a little breathing room, though, going into the half. I'm sure Coach Miller's happy about that, especially with that defensive stand. Right. Huge momentum shift with that defensive stand.
It is huge, and we've seen Eagles offense really just take advantage of their wide receiving core. Guys going both ways, but, we've heard it. Milanese, Dominic, Rashad Wallace, a couple other guys. Those are some of the impact players for the Eagles that we got from the coach. But really, the spotlight has been on the quarterback, Ryan Risk.
Yes.
That's kind of the spotlight, and a lot of for us as well. Yes. I feel like there's a lot riding on this young man, and I think you can tell based on his actions, after those sacks, taking those big-time sacks here late in the second half, and ultimately that pick he threw up in the air.
Yeah.
I want to say that it somehow has affected him mentally a bit.
I will agree with you. We'll see if they can get back in it. They've been in some close games themselves, though. They won against Westminster Academy 14-6, as well as Kings Academy 12-7. So their contest has been a little bit closer than the Panthers.
Yeah.
So maybe if he can get Risk, rein him in a little bit, rally his teammates around him, maybe they can get back in this one second half for the Eagles.
Well, there's no doubt that Snead, he definitely, you can tell they know what they're doing out there.
Yeah.
They came in early on and identified the weaknesses for the Panthers just from what we're looking at. They're taking advantage of that running back linebacker situation in the passing game. We got wide receivers. Yes. We've seen the Panthers really take advantage of their quick game throughout the season, and tonight we got corners that are really pressed. They're playing press. We got two safeties deep because they know the speed of Calvin Jackson, a Zach Weber, a Dominic Grassi, a Kalen Carson, but they're really taking advantage of ultimately. They found a couple pockets, and on both sides of the ball, the offense for the Eagles, they've taken advantage of that flat.
Yes.
It's been wide open. So ultimately, got a halftime performance here out of the Charter Band. We're going to leave those cameras live for you, and we're going to take a quick break. Remember, we're bringing action back to you after this halftime. This is a special feature, Friday night under the lights, here on HSBNSports.com. Let's go. going viral all over the place. We love the shout-outs. Stay tuned with us because this isn't one you want to miss. The Panthers, a little breathing room, but no doubt the Eagles are going to make some adjustments here in the second half. This is Ryan Stout alongside Chris Jenkins, bringing you live action here from the Sportsplex in Coral Springs. Stay with us. Who's gonna be the point?
I can't talk.
Wait, am I gonna be like out there? Just like on the TV for like at Buffalo Wild Wings. Are you gonna ask me questions?
Mrs. Batone, are you ready?
Really hard questions.
You may begin your amazing show.
He heard you.
And once again, here from halftime, this is Ryan Stout with HSBNSports.com, a special feature during the halftime performance. We got some special guests that have joined us, and I'm not going to lie, they're a bit nervous right now, so we're going to try and keep it easy. Go ahead and introduce yourself. We got some cheerleaders, some Panther cheerleaders. It is senior night, so we want to talk a little about the seniors. What's going on? Introduce yourself.
I'm Olivia.
Okay.
And I'm Saida.
Nice.
And we're both the captains.
Oh, you guys are the captains.
Yeah.
So you guys are in charge of the shop, basically. You
Kind of.
You call the shots.
Kind of.
So you've done some pretty outstanding things last year. You told me a little about some of the successes that you had last year for cheerleading, competition-wise.
We won second in the state, and it was in Orlando,
Yeah.
and we had a lot of fun there.
See, I think there's a big misconception for cheerleaders. I think people think that, they're just out here rooting for football games, but there's a whole different aspect in terms of competition and the athletic side to it. Give us a little insight on what the life of a cheerleader would be like, especially for a senior. You guys have been doing it for, I would say, some time now.
Yeah.
So from an athletic standpoint, if I say cheerleaders aren't athletes, what do you say to that?
I say we are athletes because we're out there, like, basically working out. Like, we run out of breath also. I mean,
That's a great.
but the football part is the fun part, and then competition is where we get serious, and it's also really fun, but we have a whole routine put together, and it's 2 minutes and 30 seconds about.
Yeah.
And we compete against other schools in our division, and I think it's really fun.
It's a lot of pressure, right?
Yeah.
You guys get one shot, you do all this practice, and then you get in front of all these judges that I feel like they don't even look too happy to be there, and they're just kind of staring at you, and then you start throwing people in the air, and all of a sudden it's like you miss a leg or something like that, and it's like, then what do you do?
Our coach tells us that it's not about like what happens at practice. The judges only know what goes on the mat when we're performing.
Right.
So we just have to give it all we got when we're out there.
Now, since you're seniors, we want to give a special shout out. Do you have the names on top of your head, all the senior girls that are representing the Charter Panthers right now for the cheerleaders?
Yes.
Well, let's hear it.
Well, it's me, Olivia, Saida, Nure, Chloe, and Desiree.
Now, is there any one of you that would like to go to college for cheerleading? Is that anywhere in there, or is it just something you wanted to do, participate during your high school career?
Well, it depends on what college you go to, because not all of them like have cheerleading or football.
Mm-hmm.
But I would like to if I get into a college like that. I don't know about Saida.
I would cheer for college, but I wouldn't go just for cheer.
Yeah.
So.
Regardless, you guys look outstanding. At some point during the broadcast, I promised, and the coach promised me that you guys would do a cheer in front of the camera. So we're still waiting, and the audience is still waiting. But this is Olivia and Saida, two captain cheerleaders for the Charter Panthers. We thank you so much for joining us in the broadcast tonight. Are you guys going to Buffalo Wild Wings after?
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe.
Pressure, maybe. They're saying yes, but they're shaking their heads no. Once again, the cheer captains, Saida and Olivia, in the booth doing an outstanding job on the sidelines, getting these boys ready to go for this second half of play. We thank them for joining us tonight. Getting close to the ending up this halftime. We got both teams out here, 1:50 on the clock and running. Both teams getting warmed up here. And we have an interesting game going on so far. It's a 17-7 home field advantage, no doubt. This is senior night for the Charter Panthers, and this crowd is on fire, no doubt. Ending up this first half with a very interesting situation. The Eagles potentially having an opportunity to put some points on the board and really just going backwards. Chris Jenkins alongside, kind of looking at this thing, got an interesting vantage point here in the box. But like we said early on, we have yet to see really the Panthers struggle in any of our broadcasts. So the ones that we've featured, this is the first time, and it's quite exciting. I'm not going to lie.
Well, yeah, it's going to build character for them because I guarantee you the championship run they're trying to make is not going to be an easy one if they want to try and get back. You need to face some adversity along the way.
No doubt.
And I just don't feel like this Eagle team from Boca is going away. They're going to make a run to try and get back into this one. Turnovers will probably be a key, as they are in most games. Eagles have 2, Panthers have 1. Panthers have been able to take advantage of one of the Eagles' 2 turnovers. Panthers, I should say Eagles have not.
Right.
I think I got my facts straight.
It's okay. Well, no doubt that there's going to be some changes here coming in to this second half of play. Coach Snead doing some outstanding things over at St. John Paul.
Yeah.
Offensively, I was quite surprised. We haven't seen him play yet, but coming out with just weapons blazing and risk at the quarterback position, really just taking advantage of all of his wide receivers on the field. That a lot of these guys are playing both ways. A little rattled there coming into this halftime, but ultimately I think they're going to make the appropriate adjustments in this second half. And the Panthers, interested to see what Coach Miller and defense coordinator Coach Garris has for us in this second half of play.
Well, I would think if you're the Panthers, you want to keep your foot on the gas. You're talking about a team averaging 35, only giving up 8, and over 300-plus yards of total offense per game, and 5 yards per carry every time they run the football.
Right.
So they can keep the ball on the ground and see where it goes from there.
We haven't seen too much on the ground from the Eagles, but like you're saying, Carson for the Panthers is definitely the workhorse. And once again, ladies and gentlemen, at HSBN Sports is the shout-out line. The Twitter feed is active, no doubt. The conversations are going. We got some Panther alumni with us. Nick Dulce, appreciate all the shout-outs, watching the game with us. It's not one you want to miss, folks. We've seen a lot of Panthers games here at this home field, and a lot of them have not blowouts, but basically real confident in their play and coming out on top.
A lot have gone in the Panthers' way, and this one looks to be no different unless the Eagles can get something going. We'll see. They got a good return from Wallace, and they're starting out at their own 31st and 10, 11:53 on the clock. 17-7 is your score. Risk in the shotgun once again, 4 wide receiver set. 3-step drop. Fires one up across the middle, completes it. Nice gain of yardage. That was complete.
Man,
to Farley.
Just taking advantage. I love seeing this offensive scheme. We're seeing a lot of trips out of the Eagles, and really Risk is picking on these linebackers. These outside linebackers are having a tough time because right there we got the curls wide open. Now we know his linebacker position, your reads curl flat most of the time. So, I mean, he had 2 options there. He was going to the flat, or he was going to the curl. He went for the curl. Oh, my goodness.
Second play of the series. So 1 step forward, 2 steps back. Completes that one to Farley for 12 on the first play and loses about 4 on the second play.
Well, Risk, once again, just really, it's making me worry because he's holding that ball with one hand. And right there, I could have swore that he was going to cough it up.
Is he pulling on Michael Vick?
Well, I don't even think it's that. I mean, yeah, he probably is that. I feel like at one point he's going to use the ball to get himself off the ground.
And he floats this one up. Looks good. And oh, my goodness, fingertip catch pulls it in.
Wow. That's number 4.
Good stuff that time.
That's Milanese, one of the impact players for St. John Paul. No doubt, and just perfect ball place.
He balled out last week, too. 11 receptions, 134 yards, 3 TDs, all rushing.
Yeah.
So he is definitely one of Risk's weapons, and the Eagles are on the move, trying to cut into this lead, 17-7. They put it up in the air once again, complete the pass, a short one, maybe gains about 4 or 5 on the play, so bring up a second at about 4, we'll call it.
Demetrius Rufus.
They are trucking inside of Panther territory.
And that reception was the number 13, Michael Ippolito. And once again, this wide receiving core really showing their stuff tonight.
So here we go for wrist pressure now. He's going to be sacked, swallowed up that time.
And that's a big-time sack by both Michael Carrion
and Judge Rodriguez.
Yeah, Rafael Rodriguez, the junior. Both juniors coming off the edge and just taking advantage.
Okay, so we've got a 3rd and long situation after the sack risk. Facing little pressure, floats this one up.
Oh my goodness.
His receiver zigged when he should have zagged and picked off by the Panthers. Got a little room and gets out of bounds. Nice pickoff. Guess who? Mr. Calvin Jackson.
Calvin Jackson, no doubt, was not the intended receiver on that play, but at the defensive back position is very dangerous. I mean, a lot of these guys, they're playing both ways, so you don't ever have the excuse of, defensive backs got brick hands. These guys, they're catching balls all over the field.
And speaking of, he's got more interceptions than touchdowns right now.
Oh, my goodness.
So, in this game.
That's a stat for you.
2 interceptions for Calvin Jackson, 1 touchdown on the game. So, a well-rounded game for that young man, the senior, trying to go out in style here. Senior night from the Coral Springs Sportsplex. 9:43 on the clock. Panthers going the other way, forcing the 3rd turnover of the contest. Miller in the shotgun. They keep it on the ground to Carson. He trucks ahead for about 3 or 4.
And can't forget Desposito with Nick Desposito, number 4, with 2 picks in the game as well.
So coming up on the 9-minute mark here, Panthers in business after forcing the 3rd turnover of the contest. And we've got Miller once again in the shotgun formation, going with a little option pass that time.
That play call is something else. It gives Miller just enough time to say, you know what? Because there's no doubt that Miller could have gotten at least 3-4 yards on that play, but I mean, he's just picking on that corner because he's saying, hey, you're either going to come and get me or you're going to defend the pass. So Miller taking his chances in the air and not completing it, but ultimately want to give some shout-outs here. Joining the broadcast, Janesville, Milton, and Olean. Those are some new names. And also, once again, Nick Dulce, I see you on the feed, man. I love it. Calling out sacks, baby.
Empty set for Miller with a 5 wide receiver set. Has plenty of time over the middle, incomplete.
Oh, man, that is dangerous. Desposito tipping the ball into the air. That is not a situation you want to put yourself in. And looks like we're going to see the punt team for the Panthers. And what seemed to be a successful drive for the Panthers, coming off a big-time interception by impact player Calvin Jackson, has turned into a punt situation. But hey, no doubt the Panthers, they got weapons in all aspects of the game, and we're about to see. Last punt from Matthias was a spiral coming off his boot. And he's going to take his time, and it's going to be a duck, but probably going to be a good bounce.
Yeah, back deep that time, Wallace and Melanies, and they won't get an opportunity to get at it. So Eagles will have to start the old-fashioned way, as it takes a Panther bounce.
That's a decent punt.
Yeah.
They
start out their own 10, 15, check that, 15, 1st and 10. So 8:48 on the clock. Still 17-7. Panthers putting 1 on the board before the half. And they have a little breathing room We will see if the Eagles can get something going with Risk. And the Eagles back on the field. They catch it.
Man, he's going to take a chance down the field.
Going deep that time.
3 defenders, and that's number 4. Once again,
First down, Eagles.
Milanese on the reception, and Risk going to take a big risk down the field. And 3 Panthers to take him down, and it looks like we got an injured player on the field for the Panthers. Weapons on the offense for the
Quick
Eagles.
strike. Boom, boom, boom.
Backed up, looked like
They can-
within their own 15-yard line, and just going to let it go. And Milanese just had the edge. Good ball placement, good catch. And we've seen it happen multiple times tonight. They're attacking these defensive backs for the Panthers, but at the same time, it just shows the confidence in the quarterback to say, look, I've thrown, 4 interceptions? He's got 4 interceptions on the night so far?
I think it's 3.
Okay, so
3.
Desposito's got 2. Okay,
And Calvin Jackson's got 1.
Jackson's got 1, so 3 interceptions. He's still going for.
Yeah, still flinging it out there. 35-yard pitch and catch that time. And just like that, the Eagles are in Panther territory. We had a
that was
injured player
That was
on the
Calvin
field.
Jackson. He's coming off the field. Not a young man that you want to lose.
Of course not. He made the tackle,
Right.
the touchdown saving tackle. So hopefully he'll be all right on the sidelines with his helmet on currently. So we'll see if he gets back into the contest. Hopefully we will get to see him. He's played big tonight. Eagles back in action out of the injury timeout. Going up top again, incomplete.
Man, just out of arm's reach. They are attacking Nick Desposito, and once again, Desposito with 2 picks in this game, and they're still going to fire it at him. And definitely with probably a little better ball placement, that was a reception. And it was going to be a big struggle for Weber at the safety position to try and chase him down.
And once again, that was Milanese. It seems like Risk, one of his main weapons. So here they go, putting it up again. 3rd down situation to go with the little screen pass and enough to move the sticks. Gain of about 14. Jackson back in the game, making the tackle.
And it looked like Joseph Farley, number 2, on the reception and the big-time pickup. It's going to move the chains down the field, and the Eagles definitely with an edge right here.
So barring some kind of a hang-up against themselves penalty-wise, Eagles look like they got something cooking in business now, trying to drive and cut into this 17-7 lead. They go with the screen pass.
And that is
and
outstanding.
weaving inside of the defense. He may go to distance. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Touchdown, Eagles.
Outstanding play call. We're talking about bunch set on both sides of the offense. And they're going to just run a swing pass out to the side. And nobody, once again.
Oh, my gosh. They're going to bring this one back, Ryan. We didn't see the flag, and that was Norwood
that breaks hearts.
that caught that swing pass and took it the distance. Oh, killer.
That breaks hearts right there. And
If
that,
you're St. John Paul.
man, a swing pass out to the near side of the field, and
Unbelievable.
yeah, that is you talk about shooting yourself in both feet right now.
Well,
The
and
Eagles-
I didn't mean to jinx them, but I
Well,
said
you
it.
did.
You know, on this series, unless they do something to hurt themselves, they could had a little. You know,
well, I'm just going to blame it on you. I'm
cook,
gonna say-
cooking the breakfast up. Had the bacon cooking. Had the
cooking the eggs in the
had
bacon
the
grease.
Yeah. So they are backed up. Touchdown, wiped off the board. Risk tries to put it up again.
Oh.
Ball poked away. Good
And
defense.
You talk about killing momentum. I mean, I feel like I got the wind knocked out of me up here, you know. I mean, that was a great play. That was
Absolutely.
a great play call by the Eagles. And for that to happen, you're putting your team in a situation where you got to make up. The less you're trying to make up.
You can't keep overcoming
Right.
those kind of situations.
Right.
You're in a dogfight. You're trying to get any type of good momentum that you can. So we'll see what the Eagles come up with. They go with the draw situation, facing a 3rd down. Excuse me, 2nd down. It will be a third down and
It's
about
gonna bring up a third down.
6.
We'll say 7.
So third down situation coming up for the Eagles, backed up after momentarily scoring a touchdown, wiped off the board, and a nice play call coming up on the 7-minute mark. 17-7 still the score. Panther defense steps up and they get him.
And guess who it is? Carry On and Rodriguez coming off the edge once again. Carry On getting there first and throwing him off balance. Rodriguez finishing it off, risk in his own backfield. That's going to bring up a 4th and long situation, and it looks like we're going to see the punt team out of the Eagles.
A huge opportunity, Ryan, squandered by this Eagle team. Now, keep in mind, Panthers, great defensive team, of course, only allowing, I should say, 8 points per game, but came into this game 24 sacks on the season with 11 INTs. So that defense is just as good as the offense.
And that punt's going to be end over end, and it's going to land on the 15-yard line and roll back towards the Eagles. It looks about on the 20-yard line. Panthers are going to start it off in their own territory. No doubt the momentum is in their hands right now. That you talk about taking the wind out of someone's sails.
Yes, yeah, no question about it. If you're this Eagle defense, all you really want to do is just take it one play at a time and just try and hope that you can catch a break, create a turnover or something.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't see the Eagles folding. I don't see them folding at all this entire game.
I agree. Too many weapons. The offense is extremely quick strike. They can chew up chunks of field in a hurry.
Yeah,
they're a passing team, and we've seen them.
Yes,
we've seen them do it.
Exactly. 3 interceptions, but at the same time, this quarterback is overcoming these situations by these, like you're saying, these quick hits down the sideline. I mean, these guys are taking a bunch of risks.
Yes. Risk is one of the captains for this St. John Paul second football team. So, not giving up, but Panthers in control. We'll see if they can put some more points on the board. Up 17-7 here. 6:33 remaining third quarter action here from the Coral Springs Sportsplex here in Coral Springs, Florida. Chris Jenkins, Ryan Stout here on HSPN Sports. Glad you could join us. Keep tuning in. Keep tweeting.
Every week we're giving you action. And it looks like we got a new running back in the game, Aquaviva, this senior.
He can come in and do a little something
he
too.
Can pound it. He looks, just based on his attributes, he looks like a fullback. He looks, he's got the size, pound for pound.
Yeah.
Probably one of the stronger ones on the team. But ultimately, when he gets the ball, I'm not going to say he's a bowling ball, but that's what it resembles.
He's a stout 5'8", 190, just a junior, so he'll be back, and these folks will be able to enjoy him again next year. Nice run that time to give Panthers some breathing room. They come out second play of the drive, and they keep it on the ground, and they get about 8 more or 7 more on the carry.
And once again, Twitter action is live, and we've got some good conversations going on. Nick Dulce, keep it coming, man. Telling the Panthers, don't get complacent, brothers. Bring the juice. Eagle 6 group. Shout out to Nick Dulce, 22, recovering from an ACL surgery yesterday. So we got some action on here. Nick Dulce, obviously right here, Eagle 6, telling us he's recovering from ACL surgery.
Best of luck to you, young man, in the recovery with that.
That's tough. Mental game, no doubt.
Mm-hmm.
Have to be mentally strong to recover from that situation.
Never been down that road. I
can't say I have either.
I wish him all the best in dealing with that.
Well, the technology, 2015, technology is obviously a little different.
Yeah, I agree.
So
absolutely.
But yeah, best of luck for the young man. Panthers on the verge, 3rd and short. See what Miller's got. Aquaviva stepping in for Carson.
See if they can keep this drive alive. Rolling out near side. He pressured.
Oh, man.
And gets this one off probably a little before he wanted to. Pass intended that time, I believe, for Zach Weber.
Yeah.
Incomplete.
We've seen Miller. We haven't seen too much pressure on Miller when he's rolling out.
No.
So that, we suspect that Miller, he's either going to throw it or run it. In that case, had to give his wide receiver a chance and just shy of the reception. So we're going to see a punt team. And once again, shout out to Senior Night special feature on HSBN Sports. Want to remind everyone, Buffalo Wild Wings tonight on Wiles and 441. If you're in Coral Springs, join us. We're going to be with the football team. We're doing a special rebroadcast. Did it 2 weeks ago with the Panthers. 150 people showed up. So let's try and break that record. Big shout out. See you at Buffalo Wild Wings after the game.
4th and 1 situation. Panthers punt this one away. Knuckleballer. And the Eagles will not return. And ball finally killed.
Kevin
Close to the 30.
Schultes
We'll see if they spot it.
carrying the ball. First down,
And Eagles will take over inside their own territory, of course. 1st and 10
Well, here we go.
at their own 27.
Eagles back to it. Like I said, I don't think the Eagles will fold at all this game. I don't think there's a chance that we're going to see a hanging head. These guys look like they're going to fight regardless of the situation. We've seen really back and forth, negative plays, positive plays, a quarterback that definitely is confident in his abilities as well as his wide receivers, and outside of 3 interceptions has been making up for it in receptions.
Plenty of time also left in this one. Risk.
Man.
Pressured. Finally goes down. The
But-
pocket collapsed on him.
Yet you can't handle Rodriguez once again on the sack. And this, I don't know what Coach Miller did, but he has gotten in someone's ear on the defensive line and got these guys fired up, because we did not see this the first half of play.
No.
Not this much pressure.
Big time pressure coming from that Panther defense that forced about 4 sacks unofficially just in the second half.
I'm getting a little fired up here in the box, man.
Risk goes across the middle, incomplete.
Pass was incomplete.
Panthers going with a nickel defense. Looks like more defensive backs than receivers for the Eagles. So would have been tough sledding trying to complete that one. We got a 3rd down and about 15 coming up as the Eagles trying once again to get something going. Had a touchdown wiped off the board and killed their momentum. They go across the board in the middle, picked off.
Goodness.
Again, he's got some room over the near sideline at the 20, 10, 5, touchdown, Calvin Jackson Jr.
He's going to match Desposito in interceptions. Man, Jackson Jr. coming into this game, no doubt an impact player, both offensively and defensively. And Risk, quarterback, Ryan Risk, just really, he's getting stats on both sides of the spectrum, really. So, got the confidence, but, when you're getting the pressure, which no doubt this second half, he's feeling the pressure from guys like Rodriguez, carry on from the defensive line. These guys are really putting in some work. And Papaleo as well, number 55, really just putting the pressure on this quarterback here tonight.
And the conversion.
And unofficially, Jackson's got 2 interceptions,
Yep.
1 touchdown.
Yeah.
1 interception for a touchdown and 1 actual touchdown.
There you go. Those are some stats for you. On senior night, once again, special feature of the Coral Springs Charter Panthers here at the Sportsplex in Coral Springs. Big shout out to the city of Coral Springs for featuring this game and last night's game. We featured Piper, the undefeated Piper team in the 8A11 district. Played Coral Springs High, struggling to find some success this season, but ultimately 2 undefeated teams back-to-back, and they were both featured on City TV. So we give a big shout-out to Coral Springs, the city, for having us on the stream tonight. And big shout-out to the seniors. Had some cheerleaders up here earlier, Chris.
Yeah.
Shouting out, giving shout-outs to their teammates. Once again, overseen, no doubt, cheerleaders. They do some outstanding things during the games. But hey, man, it's a whole different ball game when we get into competition.
Oh,
so
yeah.
We're going to be doing some features with these young ladies as well as the other fall sports here with Coral Springs Charter, one of the partner schools with HSPN Sports. So we are glad to feature them. We are glad to feature the Eagles as well. This will be the first one for St. John Paul, and I'm impressed, and I'm glad we got this game. No doubt. It's been an interesting one.
Yeah.
Panthers definitely, like you said, have some breathing room. But
At this point, absolutely, yeah.
Eagles definitely on both ends of the spectrum, negative and positive, and it kind of revolves around that offense, no doubt.
Well, they've definitely become one-sided for sure at this point. Just hurt themselves again with an unsportsmanlike on the kickoff.
Okay.
So they're going to be backed up even further in this one. And we've got a 24-7 ball game. Panthers are definitely in control at this point. And looking to close out senior night in a blaze of glory.
Yeah.
Making it happen for sure. Only 3:55 remaining here, third quarter action.
Potentially making history tonight. Once again, we've mentioned it early on. If you just joined us, the Panthers went undefeated at home last year and are on the verge of doing it again here tonight on senior night, and also potentially going to be coming out of the regular season undefeated overall.
And will host possibly a playoff game here at the Sportsplex as well.
Exactly.
So they've got everything to play for. But, of course, you got this Eagle team that came in with the same ambitions.
Yeah.
As we said prior to kickoff, they expected to be in this position. Only 9 seniors on this team.
Right.
They may not still be out of it. This has still got a quarter plus to go,
Only lost to Calvary Christian.
Yes.
Which the Panthers overcame early in the season after the last time they met each other was in the championship game at FAU Stadium. So definitely a big push for the Panthers, and not to say that Calvary fell off the map, but a loss to the Panthers as well as Pinecrest as well.
And here go the Eagles trying to keep hopes alive. They go with the little short pass and gain of about 9 on the play. So they're going to try and take it one play at a time, we think, and do the best they can and just stay on the board.
Yeah.
Or stay in contention with 2:53 remaining here, third quarter play.
Yeah, less mistakes. Once again, I feel like there's a lot of pressure on this quarterback. I feel like there's a lot of weight on his shoulders because he's getting it on both ends. From the defensive line, he's feeling the pressure, but also a lot of times, we've seen a couple times coverage sacks from the defensive backs, just really taking advantage of their abilities and locking those wide receivers down and not giving Risk really a chance.
And you can definitely tell that this Panther defense has stepped up in the second half from a pressure standpoint. They've gone with nickel defensive set, been able to send defensive backs with the pressure.
Yeah.
And that defensive front for the Panthers has been able to get a lot of pressure on Risk and force him to toss some balls up and not have enough time to get anything going. Now, the third down and short situation is what we face on the field for the Eagles.
And that's
I don't think they got it.
No, that's John Baltimore in on the tackle, and he's got a fist pump. He's pretty confident that the Eagles didn't get it right here. So it's going to be a fourth and I would say about 1.5 yards, maybe 2 yards, and it looks like we're going to see the punt team take the field, and that's quite interesting for the Eagles. I would say maybe took it down a couple notches.
Yeah. Yes.
Jackson back to receive the punt, and no doubt has the enthusiasm.
I don't think they're going to give him a chance. A little short punt, maybe about 25, 30 yards at best. But Panthers with great field position. Once again, they can pretty much close the coffin if they can punch one more on the scoreboard. We'll see. 1:18 on the clock. 24-7 is your score. Panthers in control of this one here from the Sportsplex. Senior night festivities.
Watch HSPN all year long. Yes, we're bringing to you week to week special content, special live features Thursdays, Fridays, even sometimes Saturdays. And hopefully, I heard from a little birdie that possibly these playoff games might be on Thursdays, so we may be able to catch a couple of them. Like we said, this is last regular season game, so it's going to be a tough situation to feature the Panthers again because we're still in regular season for regular district play. So hopefully we get a Thursday game out of the Panthers in the playoff because with their record, it's going most likely be here at the Sportsplex.
Meanwhile, Scarpala making a nice play defensively on the sack of A.J. Miller. And we do have a shaken up Panther coming off the field.
Panthers offense really getting things moving here in the second half. It really started in the second quarter. Finally got into some type of groove. No doubt opening up the playbook and using their weapons. These opportunities with, you got guys, Dominic Grossi, Zach Weber, C.J. Jackson, Kalen Carson, which he's going to give it up to him. Kalen running with an attitude, and I just love the way the young man runs. He really runs like he's trying to score every single time.
Very low to the ground.
And it's exciting because it just gets me ready for SEC football tomorrow on College Game Day because we got some big features. Third Saturday of the month in October.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to throw it out there, Chris. Tennessee, Alabama. I know. There's,
I see. I forget you have the ties there. I got you.
I'm just going to throw that out there. See, a little line, maybe catch somewhere. I'm not sure, but we'll get back to this Panther action.
They put it up in the air, and that one's incomplete. Arvallo, going back a couple of plays, was the injured Panther. He went off on his own power. But Tennessee had a low momentum start the season off, and then Oklahoma,
You're really trying to
took it away from him.
I tried to put it to the side, but he's trying to talk about it.
No. Trust me, I was rooting for the Sooners. I was rooting for the Volunteers in that game, just to be clear.
Ultimately, I just love Saturdays.
I got you.
Fridays, high school football, it's quite depressing coming out of the high school football season. That's going to get a great bounce.
Absolutely. Panthers, nice bounce on that one, and that's going to back the Eagles up inside their own 20. We'll kill it at about the 18. Third quarter action in the books.
Matthias ending us on the third quarter, and we just want to give a shout-out to those underwriting this broadcast tonight, Keeping Dreams Alive Foundation, playingtherecruitinggame.com, and stealthrating.com. And once again, special feature tonight, not just because it's senior night, but HSBN will be featuring a rebroadcast over at Coral Springs Buffalo Wild Wings, 441 and Wiles. Hopefully we can see you out there. Come and join the team afterwards to watch the rebroadcast and eat some chicken wings. Because guess what? You saw it. Keeping Dreams Alive Foundation. The proceeds, 10% of the chicken wing check is going to the foundation to support the services the KDA Foundation has provided since 2001 here in Broward and Dade County, helping thousands of student athletes. And now kicking things off in this 2015 is really this new era of technology, being able to put on a live broadcast. Never thought that we would really be a part of something like this. Is outstanding. We get to feature student athletes that are under the radar, over the radar, every single week. And stuff goes viral with our strategic partners, and it goes viral with you as well, our audience. So we always appreciate you tuning in because all the measurables help. And every share is another opportunity for a student athlete out here tonight to get exposure to a college.
And we've had several shine. One that pops in mind is obviously the showstopper, Calvin Jackson Jr.,
Yep.
but you've got several other Panthers stepping it up big. Risk has had better games, but pretty decent player in his own right. He's one of the captains for this Eagle team, and he's still back there slinging and trying to get something going for this Eagle offense. Trying to find something. Scrambling now. Sacked again.
And I can appreciate, as I'm watching this young man in the pocket, that he does have the confidence. And he keeps his eyes down the field. He doesn't fold as soon as he feels the pressure. You can tell an experienced offensive line, they're going to fan out and give him a pocket to step up into. And regardless of feeling that pressure from, Chris Judge, Papaleo, Carry On and Rodriguez, he's still attacking.
And he's back to pass once again. Pressure, and he's going to be sacked again. I believe that's going to be unofficially probably the 7th or 8th sack he's gotten tonight.
But at the same time, there's only so much you can do. You can talk. There's only so much you can do at the quarterback position. So, when you got
to have some time.
Yeah, you definitely have to have some time. And there's definitely been a change here in the second half. This defensive line has really put the pressure on this quarterback.
We'll see if Jackson can get some action and light up the scoreboard again. Low knuckleballer. Do we have a flag on the play? I don't think so. A couple of shiny objects out there, but
no dirty laundry on the field.
Okay.
But, yep, you're right. Not giving Jackson a chance.
None.
I wouldn't either.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
That'd be the
if I had
thing.
to give up field position, that's what I'd have to do.
That is the last thing I would do is kick it to Calvin Jackson Jr. because that young man has the abilities to do some very dangerous things out on the field.
So just a few ticks under 10 minutes left here in this one. Panthers in control, up 24-7. Great field position, starting off inside of Eagle territory, 1st and 10. Pistol set once again from Miller, and they keep it on the ground, churning out about 5 yards or so. I believe that is Michael Aquaviva on the carry.
Sharing time with Carson. And as you can see in your screen right now, getting a special feature of those cheerleaders. Finally talked them in, coming down in front of camera. The ladies that are got the enthusiasm, getting this crowd going. We don't get a chance to see it, but there's a whole section of charter crazies on the opposite side that they tell, hey, you can't sit on this side because you're going to distract.
On the field, Jackson finally gets the screen pass, cuts inside the middle. He may go the distance on the right side. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Touchdown, Panthers. Guess who?
Mr. Jackson.
Jackson, if you're nasty.
Yes. Mr. Jackson once again doing some outstanding things here on the field, and that's 2 touchdowns for the young man.
And 2 interceptions.
2 interceptions.
1 for a touchdown.
2 touchdowns.
Just handling business tonight.
Really doing his thing, and that's why he made the list, as well as a couple other athletes that made the impact player list tonight. Alongside Zach Weber, A.J. Miller, and Kalen Carson. Those guys featured tonight, and those guys were our choice because they're seniors.
Yeah.
So we wanted to do something special. Mm-hmm. Coach Adam Miller has been outstanding, really, with keeping it, keeping the diversity in terms of featuring certain impact players because he really has a really great team.
I
overall.
agree. Yes.
So he's kept it. He's kept it pretty diverse in terms of impact players, and I'm quite impressed with his choices every week because every week it seems to be different.
Mm-hmm.
So this week wanted to do a special feature for the seniors. They've been featured before, but hey, it's senior night. You only get one, right?
Very true.
You only get one senior night, and it's definitely one to be excited about because these guys are doing an outstanding job. We saw early in the game, a little bit of a struggle. But
yes.
No doubt.
Nail biter.
Yeah.
In the early stages.
Yeah, I don't think there was too much doubt.
No.
On the Panther side, but
go ahead and nail that coffin.
Yeah.
I'm gonna call it.
Oh, he's calling it. Chris Jenkins. He's calling the game.
9-11 left.
31-7, and Chris Jenkins is calling it. We want to know what you think. You know me. I'm Mr. Hopes and Miracles. over here.
We shall see what the final score is,
And
my friend. That's all that's left to be desired.
Like I said, I don't see the Eagles folding in this game, regardless of the situation.
Wallace on the touchback.
And
so the Eagles got to go 80 yards to put some points on the board. They'll put 6 on the board.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. There's a little frustration out on the field. We've seen a couple almost unsportsmanlike conduct calls that, these guys are really getting each other's faces. And I think,
well, up to this point, I think unofficially there's already been 4. So we'll see how this plays out the rest of the way. 9-11 left in this one. 31-7. Eagles coming out balling in the second half and have opened this one up.
Yeah. Well, we want to see what you think. Hit us up at HSPN Sports on the Twitter feed. Let us know. Chris Jenkins calling the nail in the coffin, saying this game is over with. But
do the Eagles have any momentum to muster up some more points? We shall see. In their own territory, they face a 2nd down and 10. No gainer on that first play. And Risk has this one batted down. Tried to step up in the pocket.
Potential right here. Getting close to that time of the game. Player of the game. And we're sitting up here discussing it. And we're a little on the line. So also, we want to hear your thoughts. Let us know. You've been watching it.
So 8:35 remaining. Third play. 3rd down of the drive.
All right.
And they complete the pass and picking up necessary yards to move the sticks that time on a nice catch and run. That was number 19. That is Reese Clark. He's played a pretty good game, the leading rusher for this St. John Paul football team.
We got our first response. Nick Dulce calling nail in the coffin. He's agreeing.
Yeah. He's a smart man. Yeah. Coming up on the 8-minute mark, 31-7 the count, and Eagles keep it on the ground. Gain of about 2 on that play.
Hey, Nick, let us know. We're on the borderline with player of the game right now. I'm thinking a little Desposito action with 2 interceptions, but early on in the game. But Calvin Jackson, I mean, what can you say? 2
beast.
Interceptions.
That young man's a beast on both sides of the ball tonight.
So he scored on both sides of the ball. He has 2 interceptions, a reception for a touchdown. Did he get his second one?
Yes.
So 2 touchdowns. So 3 overall. We want to hear from you. Deerfield Beach has joined us in the broadcast tonight. And speaking of Deerfield Beach, only lost to Jacksonville Bulls. That's the only loss this year. And interesting, we've gotten a lot of action out of the 8A11 district here in Broward County. Mm-hmm. And Deerfield Beach, Piper, Marjorie Stoneman Douglas, Coral Springs High. Piper undefeated, featured them last night. And that's the big matchup. October 30th. People are kind of on edge saying, hey, what's the deal with this Piper football team?
Where have they come from?
Right, that's the thing. David Coleman, head football coach over there, really shaping that Piper team into something special, no doubt. Had a chance to hang out with them today. KDA Foundation was featured at their Health and Wellness Day. They do every year. Early release yesterday, no school today. That tells us that we're getting into a different academic season, different second quarter of the school year. So they do it on Fridays, no school, and had to feature it. And they got to sit there, and the athletes, they got to watch the whole game. From last night, they got to sit there at our tent, and they watched their entire football game. And we had a chance to preach to them, a little, recruiting, and potentially have some student athletes that are going to be featured this Thursday in our Sports Talk recruiting. So, but ultimately, still got a lot of action out here on the field. And once again, special feature tonight. We're heading over to Buffalo Wild Wings. 441 in Wiles. We'll see you after the game here in Coral Springs, Florida.
Risk sacked on that last play and pressured once again on this play.
Man.
So he has just not had much of an opportunity to do anything, facing a 4th down. Now Eagles are going to have to give it up.
Everything in my gut just wants to, I just really enjoy watching this offense on the Eagles side. We have really yet to see. They were pretty consistent in the first half, but just really, I would say, fell apart.
Yes.
Offensively, and that's really their main thing is, the quarterback, Ryan Risk.
And we're looking at a running clock if the Panthers get another score here. So.
Oh, you're talking about a couple nails in that coffin then. Oh, man, this is going to be a
running kick.
Oh, man, Calvin Jackson.
Jackson wanting to go for it. You could tell he wanted to touch it so bad. Backs away. And it'll be dead right around the 31, we'll call it. And that is where the Panthers will take over 1st and 10. Clock ticking. Only 6:23 remaining here in this one.
And we're getting close to that time. Like I said, player of the game. We don't know who yet, but I'm calling out potentially Nick Desposito, number 4 for the Panthers. Defensive back has 2 interceptions on the game and a big couple sacks. Just made some real big-time plays, a couple knockdowns, and
made some big plays.
Yeah, and then Calvin Jackson just really consistent throughout the night. I would say the only negative I've seen out of Jackson tonight is the interception that he threw early in the game.
Mm-hmm.
But can you blame the young man for attempting to be a quarterback? I don't know. It's kind of like
Coach Miller saw enough in him.
It's a little trickery. It's like, what are we looking at, Booby Miles?
I definitely didn't have
run,
enough.
He can run. He can throw. Oh, and he can pass. Paint your back porch. Can he do it all? Calvin Jackson Jr. just all over the field. So those are my 2 guys. And Nick's still on here. I love it, Nick. They'll say, guess what? Another sack.
So they complete this one and breaking the tackles. Carson spins off a defender. Nice run by the young man. That'll move the sticks. 1st and 10 Panthers.
Just making a statement out here. No doubt. Love the way Carson runs the football. Someone's going to be very pleased with this young man at the next level.
And they mark him as athlete, and that is truly the best description. He's only 5'8", but 160, plays like he's about 200 pounds, breaking tackles, though. So, stout runner.
Yeah, no doubt.
Nice play that time from Miller to Carson.
Get a little chance to see Aquaviva here in the game at the running back position. Miller's going to make a couple of adjustments.
And they're going to keep it on the ground once again. Aquaviva on the carry. Nice run.
Aquaviva on the carry.
And a big shout out. Got some more people joining the broadcast this late in the game. Miami Beach and Miami Gardens have joined the broadcast, and we thank you for joining us tonight.
So we're coming up on the 5-minute mark here in this one. Panthers have this one in hand, putting it to the Eagles of St.
John Paul.
St. John Paul.
Yeah, it mixes us up. Used to calling them Pope John Paul, but it has changed.
Yeah.
Aquaviva.
Keep it on the ground once again.
Yeah, Aquaviva definitely.
Aquaviva on the carry.
I don't want to call him the bowling ball, but, he just looks like your typical fullback that's just going to get the ball. He's going to make one cut, and that's it. Just one
North
cut.
and south.
Yeah, and you're going to, hopefully you pray before he hits you, because he's going to come down and hit you like a sack of potatoes.
4:30 remaining here in this one. Panthers on the verge of staying undefeated, moving to 9-0, which Ryan has spoke to several times, which will be a record for these seniors. Is Carson on the carry once again. Nice conversion on the 3rd down play. That'll keep the sticks moving, keep the clock moving as well. Under 4 now in regulation.
A lot of action out here. Just very impressed by the entire, really the Panthers defense stepping it up here in the second half, from the defensive line really just taking advantage of that offensive line for the Eagles. I mean, Rodriguez, Papaleo, Carrion, even Desposito in there a couple times. But the defensive line really stepping it up. And there's no doubt that the defensive backs have done their job. A couple coverage sacks for the night for the defensive backs.
Yeah, the Eagles have just kind of become predictable to some degree, putting it up in the air, almost being forced to do so, even more than they normally would. And that's changed the coverage for the Panthers, and that defensive line has stepped it up and made the best out of it, taking huge advantage. As a second down situation for the Panthers, trying to run out the clock, keeping it on the ground exclusively now, and over the right side.
Aquaviva trying to get a little taste of it.
He's getting in the mix now.
And could potentially put some points on the board. Would like to see it out of the young man. Is a senior as well. And got a chance to see him early on the pregame. I would say the preseason game. Came out and got a helmet to the knee, and not going to say that's messed with him throughout the season, but that was kind of the first action we really saw out of him. But definitely showing out here tonight, late in this game.
So a 3rd and short coming up for the Panthers to see if they can keep the drive alive, as Miller changing the play, it looks like, goes with Aquaviva again, trying to find some room, and I think he does. That's going to move the sticks, keep the clock moving. 1st and 10 coming up for Panthers.
And once again, don't forget, we're getting close to that time. Buffalo Wild Wings, after the game, we want to see you out there. The whole team's coming out. Cheerleaders said they were coming out, shook their head no, but said yes. I don't know if they're lying or not. Wilds in 441, Coral Springs, we're going to get a rebroadcast. 150 people showed up last time.
Coming up on the 2-minute mark here in this one. Panthers looking to punch it in one more time. They're getting closer. Bowen over defender that time.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is what you call running with authority.
So we got a 1st down situation. Panthers trying to punch it in one more time. Already up 31-7 in this one. 1:30 on the clock remaining in 4th quarter of play. They keep it on the ground once again. Breaking off a defender inside the 5. And we got another score on the board. Touchdown Panthers.
And that's going to be a new running back for the Panthers. Looks like number 34, Cameron Taylor, at the running back position. And we're also going to get a new quarterback in there as well, Jordan Sepulveda.
So, wow.
Panthers going to do it
Taylor
again.
getting some action.
And I think I'm just going to say, you know what, you're right, Chris. We're going to wrap it up.
37-7 is the score. 1:20 on the clock. So extra point is up, through, and good. And that is it. Call it a night. Turn the lights out. Don't forget to turn the computers off.
Yes.
Save your electricity.
And Nick Dulce is calling, someone get the shovel to bury the coffin. So he's taking it to the next step. Not only sealing the coffin, but once again, Nick Dulce, we hope the best for you for your recovery on your knee. And thank you for supporting your Panthers tonight on HSBN Sports. We always love the conversations that we get, whether it's alumni, fans, former players, doesn't matter who it is, but that's the Twitter feed at HSBN Sports. And we're getting close. Player of the game.
Yes.
I think I know who it is, but, I mean, I don't feel bad leaving anyone out, but there was just a lot of good play out here on the field by a lot of good athletes.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I have them on the brain, but still Still waiting to see if someone else has got here. We got Eagle 6 group again saying the fat lady has sung. Go Panthers. Interesting crowd tonight, saying none the least. But once again, big shout out to Coral Springs, the city. City TV featuring this game tonight. Had back-to-back nights on City TV. Thank you so much for featuring these games tonight and supporting your local football teams. Coral Springs Charter look to remain undefeated in this regular season. We got 2 years in a row undefeated at their own house, and now the first time they're going to go the entire season unbeaten.
And we all that's really left to be figured out at this point is, can they take it the distance? Can they get over the hump and get that state championship?
Yeah, that's the biggest question.
And we shall see as they are heading in that direction now with tremendous momentum, as we do have an official running clock. 38-7 is the count as we're coming up on the 1 minute mark left in regulation. Chris Jenkins, Ryan Stout, thank you for joining us tonight here on HSPN Sports from the Sportsplex in Coral Springs, Florida. A nice and cool and perfect night. This is one of those nights that you love to live in Florida. As the Eagles trying to get something, put something on the board at the 40, at the 30, at the 20, 10-5, touchdown. Eagles will not go away. They want to put at least one more score on the board.
I told you they weren't going to fold.
80-yard jaunt.
These guys are not going to fold. No doubt the game is obviously over, but the Eagles definitely still in this game for pride.
And that was my man Reese Clark, the leading rusher for this Eagle team. And he wanted to have something to say about that final score and put 6 on the board, taking it to the house from 80 yards out, 39.8 remaining in this one. Extra point ensuing. It shall be 38-14. So a little bit of excitement if you're an Eagle fan, just seeing a little something go on the board. Too little, too late. Looks good on the stats, though, if you're Clark.
No doubt. And once again, we want to thank all of our strategic partners for streaming this game tonight. Bleacher.com, Florida High School Football, FloridaHSFootball.com, FloridaVarsity.com, HighSchoolFootballAmerica.com, FloridaGridironPreps.com, and NeverHadItSoGoodSportsRadio.com. Making this game go viral on a weekly basis. We couldn't do it without you guys. We thank you for all your support of the student athletes.
So 39.8 remaining in Sportsplex.